Hey folks, Solly here with another Mythic Plus walkthrough looking at an easy-ish route to help you get some weekly keys done whether you are in a pug group or playing with friends. Priory used to be one of my most disliked dungeons from the last season, but I think with the changes that they've made and just with the rest of the dungeon season pool, I actually quite like this one and I find it not too difficult. It also helps that we've probably been playing it for the last several months, so it is fairly similar, although this route is going to be different and we are going to be going right at the stairs rather than left. That is my most preferred route. This run is not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. There's some occasional body pulls and some deaths, but again, because of the route, it's quite simple to make a few changes on the fly and also still time it. I find it quite lenient on the timer. So getting into it then, we are going to start the key and we are going to run straight down the middle and we are then going to go round the right hand side. So you want to tag the 4 mobs that will be running towards you. You're going to keep going. Hopefully your DPS will just chill out, so they're not pulling aggro straight off the start, give you a chance to gather. You can see here that I grabbed this patrolling pack, the pack that stands next to the fountain, and then I am going to pick up Suleiman, and I am going to tank him on the safe spot, which is the stairs here. So as long as you have your back to the stairs, then the knockback is pretty much like eradicated. You don't need to worry about it. You can, if you want, pull this additional pack just here with this one as well. However, playing safe with the pug group, I felt like we could just go for this Pot Lust, which came late, I might add. The person who used it didn't use it until the middle of the pack, which was a bit strange, but we managed to make it through. Once this pack goes down then, you want to then start to think about the next couple of packs. Now, if I've pulled this one, normally I would pull this one in, or you can just save it. The things that you need to be aware of here, obviously the shield sign you can just see go off. I didn't move at all. Defend goes out to make sure that you are CCing and get rid of those shields as quickly as possible so they take extra damage. And the pot shots, you can now see who is being targeted by pot shot, so you can pop a defensive if required. But honestly, like from a tank perspective, with just that little bit of gear that you've gained in that first reset, it's a massive difference, I felt, in survivability and such. So that's all you really need to watch. Try and get the sharpshooters in as much as possible, stand fairly stacked and such. Now this is where it starts to go wrong for us, but I do manage to keep the key going and alive at this point. So I pulled these 2 packs and I am then waiting for the mini-boss to run down. Now I do ping this to say, like, well, I'm not pulling this just yet, but we body pull it anyway. So I have to quickly gather up. You can see that Shane Mail is stood at the bottom of the stairs and I'm like, oh, we could do with not pulling this just yet. So again, I make a ping to say move away from it, but it's too late, and the healer body pulls accidentally. It's not their fault, didn't know this is the first time they've done this route. So yeah, we start getting a few deaths come in, casts are going off, and all of that good stuff. So I just play my defensives and rotate them as best as I possibly can, interrupt CCs where possible. And I kept the pull alive. So you can see that we've had 3 deaths, and I am just slowly making my way towards the stairs, bringing things in with Ring of Peace if I can, stunning the defend and all of that good stuff. And this pull does eventually go down. Nothing to... If you're CCing and you are kicking as much as possible, you shouldn't have too much of a problem. After this mini-boss in pack is dead then, what you want to do is run up the right-hand stairs. So if you're coming in from the entrance, you want to take the right-hand stairs. Now notice as well, something to bear in mind, that because I was over here on the right initially and I stood on the right-hand stairs, the mini-boss actually runs down the right-hand stairs for you as well to make it that little bit easier. If you stood over on the left, the mini-boss comes down on the left. So just bear that in mind when you are positioning as the tank. The little mechanic that you can see that Shane Mail does as well, where she does a leap, lunging strike, you can see that the DPS and healers start to sidestep as soon as that cast is going off, which then negates the dot that the lunging strike does. Now, my wish here would be that I am going to take this 3-pack here. I am then going to take, I want to run through. I then want to take the pack on the right here. You can just see the nameplates grayed out. And this patrol as well, ideally. Now, it doesn't go to plan. Again, I didn't share the route with people. It was the first time they were doing it, so it didn't quite go to plan. And we ended up pulling this pack here as well. I'm unsure, actually. I think the Druid accidentally pulled them, got a bit too close. So I immediately pulled everything back over to this landing. I was like, brilliant, we can just do this, and it will mean that I just don't need to do one of my next pulls that I wanted to do. Same mobs as we were fighting before, except this time we've got some war links in. You can look at trying negating these as much as possible. Defend with CCs, your sharpshooters. Just try and stay fairly stacked up so that the sharpshooters do tend to jump in towards you, so that you can cleave everything down. Once this pack was going down, then that is then when I said to everybody, like, stay in the middle. But again, body pulls accidentally here. It's just one of those things. So this was an additional pull that I didn't need to do in the end because of the first body pull at the top of the stairs. However, it didn't matter too much. Brought everything into the middle of the pathway, making sure that you stand away from this area where you can just see my cursor here, because the patrol does go around here. I do want that patrol pack at some point, but yes, as soon as this pack gets fairly low, I am then going to go and to pull the mini boss, which is just at the top of the stairs, and bring it back towards the people. So waiting for everybody to rejoin us. The hunter died, so they're back now. So it's a case of going to pull the mini boss. This mini boss, it has been changed. It is easier. So it will do pulsing AoE damage here with Heatwave. You can see that goes out. And then it will also drop some area denial, some swirlies on the floor, that you just need to make sure that you're watching your feet and dodging as best as you possibly can. This mini boss type NPC goes down fairly quickly, and at this point, the final mini boss Emberlance will start to run towards you, and you want to pick up Emberlance. And I was waiting for this patrol here to go away. So the original patrol that I said I wanted, I remembered we took at the top of the stairs. That was there, so that's gone. But this patrol we don't want. Once that's out of the way, I then tag it, ping it to get a range kick, which we get with the hunter. Make sure that I've got aggro and nuke Emberlance down alongside these two adds. That should then leave you with enough trash to do the first boss and make it all the way through. If you essentially have above 41% trash by the time you are on the first boss, then you just need to clear the rest of the dungeon to be fine on trash, essentially. Once that goes down, then I'm going to wait, and we're going to utilise Shroud. So I didn't ask for it, but the rogue could just tell what we wanted to do, and the rogue shrouded us then to the first boss. So if you are doing this, you just need to be mindful that you are leaving adds up when you're doing the boss, so everybody can stay fairly stacked and not accidentally body pull anything while you're doing your boss, and you then move into the pull. Now, because you've gone right-hand side, you've actually made this boss fight easier, in my opinion, than if you were to go left and have the other mini-boss up. It makes this fight, because of this new mechanic that they've added this season. So, Dual Maul will cast Fireball, and you want to kick as many of them as possible, really. They do a lot of damage, so try and kick as many as possible. And Dale Cry also has a kick, Battle Cry, I believe it's called, which you want to kick as well. So this mechanic here then will target a player, and it will put this large brown circle around. You just need to move out of it, and that will deny floor space for a period of the fight. It does disappear eventually. And then you will also have the same AoE ground fire effect as the mini-boss at the right, at the top of the stairs, where you just need to watch your feet, essentially. Other than that, it is the same, really, as the second season. You will get the lunge, the pierce armor cast, and such, and you just play the fight as normal, just making sure that you make your way around, you're in safe spaces, whilst not body pulling everything else. That is essentially the first boss. We do not have Lust up for this first boss because we used it that first pull, but you don't want to use it here anyway, really. You want to save it for the first pull after this boss. So he goes down. I am then going to run in, and I am going to pull the first pack, the middle pack, and then I am going to go across to the right hand side and pull them as well. Gather them up, I head back to the entrance, and that is then when you want to pop Lust. This, quite essentially, is a bit of a kiting fight. You just want to keep kiting the adds in a way which the DPS are not standing in any of the puddles on the floor. Kicking any of the priest casts that you can, such as Greater Heal. You can see here, you want to be kicking those ones. And then once you're in a place where you can move back into the room, however you want to do it, it's entirely up to you. So I just roll across here and start to take the adds back inside. The toll is Sacred Toll here, which goes off. This does do a lot of damage, so healers need to be prepared for this, making sure that people are either popping defensives or they have something for it, especially if you're going to get overlaps of any description. You're then going to clear the room of the rest of the adds. You can see I chain pull into the left-hand side and take it. So we've just used all of our cooldowns, so we've just used Lust. So a bit of a smaller pack, waiting for the right-hand pack to make their way down the stairs before then getting this pack low and then chain pulling into that right-hand pack. Once you've done this then, the boss will jump down from its platform and you will go into the boss fight. This boss fight, to my knowledge, is exactly the same as Season 2. There are 3 main abilities that you want to watch out for. So the first one is Hammers. That's coming out now. And you will get the little golden circles. And what you want to do is you want to move the boss away from that and look for where Sacrificial Pyre spawns. So it's spawned over here, so I want to keep the boss around here. And the reason being is because of that Castigator's shield. So you can see that Hammers come out. I move the boss to the left and I can see that Sacrificial Pyre is here. So I'm like, right, okay, we're safe from Hammers. And I don't want to be stood next to the that circle just yet because of this. Everybody stays there. The Castigator's shield goes off in a group. That then allows you to move out and soak the orbs as you can. There is a kick that Brown Pipe will do throughout the fight, which is quite simple. Kick rotation is fine. You might even be able to solo it as well. And you just need to clear that Sacrificial Pyre. The fight rinses and repeats. Now, you can see here that we've got 5 up. So this is where Hunter pops Turtle and runs into that and soaks as many as possible before Turtle runs out. At which point then we will move in and make sure that's all gone. Just think about what classes you've got. Death Knights and Co. and Paladins can bubble AMS and such to soak all of it in one go, essentially. And that is the boss fight. You then proceed to just clear out the rest of the dungeon when this is done. So the pack at the top of the stairs, take this one. Chances are you've used your cooldowns on the boss and such. So just be prepared to use some defensives when Sacred Toll goes out in case the healer is struggling a bit. And you can see that I'm just kiting it around the room, making sure that I don't place anything in front of the door ideally. Stunning or kicking greater heal to get this pack down as quickly as possible. And then you're going to want to open the door and run upstairs. Now, fairly standard, when you get to the top of the stairs, ideally you want everybody to wait. I find it easy just to get everybody to wait here at the right, at the top of the stairs. You run in, you pull the first pack, you pull the pack on the right, and then you come back out to line of sight so that these mobs will then chase you and get quite nicely stacked. Some key things to bear in mind here. So obviously you've got the paladins, which will drop the puddles on the floor and do the Sacred Toll ability. You have also got light spawns here as well, which will target a player and will cast on them, which does significant amount of damage. You can see it here, Putrefaction Beam. And they will also drop a big golden circle as they are getting low on health. And as tank, you need to make sure that there are no mobs inside that circle when it goes off, otherwise it restores health. You've also got the mages. They do two abilities, Fireball and Fireball Volley. You want to make sure that you are kicking every single one of those volleys. So just bear that in mind when you are doing larger pulls, especially this one here where you pull these two packs on the right. You've got a Risen Mage here and two more here. So you've actually got three volleys you can see going off. And I was panicking a bit here thinking, do we have the kicks? We've got none. I can see what stuns have we got to get that. But we do manage to do this fairly well. We do have a few deaths, I believe, in this room. But nothing that breaks the key. You can see on time, we've still got another 10 minutes or more to finish this key off. So you pull these two packs here. And then it's entirely up to you how you do this room, making sure that you drag everything out of the light spawn when it goes off. I decide then to move across to the left-hand side. So once those once that pack's dead, I then move on to the left-hand side, pull these two here, take them down. Same mobs that you fought before in the dungeon, so you should know how they work. Move them out of the ground effect, kick, Fireball, Volley, and all of that stuff, which then takes you to the middle pack of the room, Brown Pike and two priests. Now, Brown Pike can hit like a truck as a tank, so I just take this pack on its own initially. I know that we're okay for time, so take this on its own, but it wasn't doing too much damage to me, and it wasn't too difficult a pull, so then I pulled it into the left-hand side of the stairs as the priests went down. So you can see just here, the priests have gone. The Brown Pike is below 50%, so chain pull into the left-hand pack. Now, something to note about these packs on either side of the stairs is when they die, these footmen, when they die, they will do splash AoE damage. Now, if you use an ability such as like a stun, like the AoE stun with the monk, the leg sweep, just about as they're about to die, it will negate that damage, which I can show you on the right-hand side. But essentially, we're just cleaving these adds down whilst focusing on Brown Pike, and then as that is going down, I then move across to the right hand side to clear, and you can see just as it's coming up, I do get a stun out, and it does stop some of the damage, but that last one does it there, so you can see that area of effect. Then go into the boss straight away. I wanted to chain pull it as quickly as possible so I didn't lose any stacks on my trinket, and it is exactly the same as in Season 2. So dodge the giant gold circle on the floor when that comes out, and you want to turn when your weak aura tells you. So when the countdown happens of blinding light, just make sure that you've got your back to the boss so that you don't get stunned. The person who has the beam needs to run it in a sensible place. Some of the DPS in this were griefing us slightly throughout this last boss fight, and some questionable placements with this. But once the boss gets to 50%, it will then transition up to the top of the stairs. At which point everybody will run up to the stairs as fast as they can. You should have Lust back by now, and this is then where we pop Lust and just go ham on the boss. Now the ads come running in as normal. You want to try and stop them, prevent them. So I used Ring of Peace. The Druid was using Vortex, just to keep them away as much as possible. I don't know what the warrior did right here, but he just got insta-gibbed. Where is he? If he runs into them and tries to stun them, and I think it misses because they were they were down the stairs. But fortunately, we had a battle res, which then meant we could res him and carry on with the fight. Other than that, turn your back when you need to. Don't do this and run the beam over the tank. That would be incredibly helpful. Just think about where you're running. Move the boss if you need to, and make sure that you are kicking when you can, and the boss should fall down as long as you've cleared those little ads that come running up the stairs as best as you possibly can. There you go. That was a pug group in an 11 Priory of the Sacred Flame. Fairly straightforward route, and even with some mistakes, you can see that it was quite easily manageable, and if we didn't have the deaths, we would have been a little bit quicker. So thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one.